Ever start a book and feel like, whoa, this is speaking right to me?
Totally. Like it's got all the secrets,
That's Think and Grow Rich for you. Almost 100 years, and people still feel that way.
Wild, right?
So today, let's unpack this book. Written during the Depression, but still so relevant, especially when things get rough. Why do you think that is?
It's got to be the timeless principles, right?
Nah.
I mean, think about it. Written by a guy named Napoleon Hill. Inspired by Andrew Carnegie, the steel tycoon himself.
Carnegie basically handed Hill this blueprint for success.
Right. And Hill took that and spent years, like decades, studying hundreds of successful people.
Distilling those secrets to success, yeah.
Exactly. And it's all right there in the book, like a treasure map.
Speaking of treasure maps, first up, the power of desire. Not just wanting something, but like craving it.
Burning desire, he calls it.
He's got this story about a guy, R.U. Darby, who literally quit digging for gold like 3 feet from a gold mine.
Oh, man. Talk about bad timing.
Imagine that. So close to your dream, but you give up.
What would Hill say about that? Probably that one of the 6 ghosts of fear got to him?
Yes. Which, by the way, we'll totally dive into later.
Definitely. But yeah, Darby, he learned the hard way.
He did, but then turned it around, applied that lesson to his life insurance business.
And found success.
Exactly. But desire alone, not enough, is it? Hill talks about faith, but not in the traditional sense, right?
Right, more like auto-suggestion.
Sounds kind of sci-fi, but bear with me, folks.
Think of it like athletes visualizing winning, right?
Oh, like programming your mind for peak performance.
Exactly. Convincing your mind you can achieve anything. Affirmations, visualizations, the whole 9 yards.
So feeding your mind success, like training it.
Exactly. But what about those of us who aren't, born geniuses? Any advice for us regular folks?
Good point. I mean, not all of us are born with that silver spoon.
Right. But Hill, he's got us covered. He talks about specialized knowledge. You don't need to know it all.
What a relief.
It's more about what you need to know for your goal.
So working smarter, not just harder.
100%.
Yeah.
Leverage your strengths, fill in the gaps. He talks about a mastermind group, too.
Surrounding yourself with experts, right?
Like a dream team. He gives an example of this salesman during the Depression loses his job.
Rough times.
Right. But he uses his skills, sees a need for bookkeeping, takes a course, builds a successful business. Turn that setback into a major win.
Wow, love that. But, okay, gotta be honest. Some of Hill's stuff might raise some eyebrows, even today.
You're thinking, the mystery of sex transmutation.
Bingo. Definitely the most talked about part of the book. How do we explain that to folks today?
It's about harnessing sexual energy. Like any powerful force, you can channel it constructively.
Okay, so not just telling everyone to,
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's more about understanding its power and using it for your goals.
Instead of it controlling you, you control it.
Exactly. But it takes self-awareness, control, and if misused, it can be destructive.
Right, makes sense. Now the subconscious mind, not just some mystical thing, right?
No way. He lays it out, how it works, how we can use it.
So be mindful of what we're feeding our minds.
It's like a sponge absorbing everything, good or bad. We have a choice in what takes root.
So true. He's big on auto-suggestion for this, right?
Big time. Repeating affirmations, visualizing desires until they sink in deep.
Like programming our minds for success. Literally inputting the code. He even says, read this chapter every night until you believe it.
Talk about commitment.
Right. But that repetition, that's what rewires the subconscious.
Totally. Hill was ahead of his time with that.
Yeah.
But he goes even further. Talks about telepathy.
Whoa, hold up, telepathy, like mind reading.
Now keep in mind, different time, right? He's exploring the edge of what's possible.
So how do you figure telepathy into this whole thing?
He believed minds could, under the right conditions, pick up thoughts from others.
Okay, interesting.
He even talks about blending minds, creating a mastermind to solve problems.
Like a super-powered brainstorming session.
Exactly. And get this, he had this technique, invisible counselors.
Invisible counselors? Like what? Imaginary friends?
Not exactly. He'd have these mental meetings with, historical figures.
They're like, who are we talking?
Emerson, Edison, even Napoleon.
He wasn't summoning ghosts, was he?
No, haha. It was visualization. Creating a mental space for advice, inspiration.
His own personal board of advisors, basically.
Right. He claimed it helped him overcome obstacles, find solutions.
Shows the power of imagination, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget to just slow down, tap into that. But, okay, back to reality for a sec. Hill talks about fear. Big-time challenge we all face.
The 6 ghosts of fear, he calls them. Poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. Tough stuff.
Holding us back from our full potential.
Recognizing and conquering them is key, according to Hill. They're often buried deep, making them harder to spot.
So they become self-fulfilling prophecies if we let them. How do we break free from these ghosts?
It's like taking back control, Those fears, they're often just in our heads.
Yeah, gotta love that quote. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. But acknowledging them isn't enough, right?
Nope, got to actively fight back. And Hill's got a plan for that. Organized planning, he calls it.
So not just positive vibes only.
No. It's about action. Taking that desire, that fire in your belly, and making a plan. Writing down goals, setting deadlines, the whole shebang.
So a roadmap to success.
Exactly. And he's big on reading it aloud daily, morning and night, imprinted on your mind.
Because subconscious mind, repetition is key.
Exactly. Like planting a seed, then nurturing it every day with those affirmations.
Love that analogy. But okay, what about when things go sideways? Even the best plans.
Right. Life happens. That's where persistence comes in. Another chapter, all about pushing through setbacks.
Because setbacks happen, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. But they're not failures, just stepping stones. He talks about Thomas Edison, remember him?
Light bulb guy.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Took him over 10,000 tries to get the light bulb right.
10,000, I'd have quit way before that.
Right. But Edison said, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Gotta love that attitude.
Hill's point, exactly.
Yeah.
Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the journey.
So shift your perspective. See setbacks as learning opportunities. Don't let those 6 ghosts get you down.
Exactly. And that's where your mastermind comes in, remember. Surround yourself with the right people.
Your crew, your support system makes a huge difference, right?
Huge. Hill's all about collective intelligence. Says you're the average of the 5 people you're closest to.
So choose wisely. He tells that story about Charles Schwab convincing J.P. Morgan to invest in steel.
Oh yeah, using his charm and vision, landed a $600 million profit.
Now that's influence.
Right? And Henry Ford, he credited his success to his crew too. Edison, Firestone, Burbank.
Heavy hitters, they pushed each other to be great.
Exactly. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Love that. We need that support, those different perspectives.
100%. Hill knew no one achieves greatness alone. We need that sounding board, the cheerleaders, and the challengers.
Speaking of challenges, Hill tackles those head on. He talks about the devil's workshop, right? Sounds intense.
It's not as scary as it sounds. It's about protecting your mind from negativity, the doubts, the worries, the criticisms.
So both internal and external battles.
Totally. He says a lot of it comes from our own thoughts. That inner critic can be brutal.
Oh, tell me about it. Mine never takes a break.
Right. But Hill gives advice on silencing that critic, cultivating a positive mindset.
Give me all the tips.
Surround yourself with good people, for one. He even has this self-analysis test in the book. Helps you spot negative influences.
So taking stock, making changes where needed. I like that. It seems like Hill's definition of success is more than just money, though, right?
Definitely. It's holistic. Financial, emotional, spiritual well-being, living with purpose.
Making a difference.
Exactly. He even says the public is the real employer of the future.
Interesting. So businesses need to serve the public to truly succeed.
That's the idea. It's
Yeah.
about positive impact, win-win situations. He also talks about leadership.
What makes a good leader?
He lists 10 attributes. Courage, self-control, a good personality.
So more than just being in charge.
Way more. It's about empowering others, working together.
He probably talks about what not to do, too.
Oh yeah, 10 causes of leadership failure. Like not being willing to serve, fear of competition.
So many ways to mess it up.
Right. But by knowing the pitfalls, you can avoid them. Hill's all about learning and growing.
That's what makes Think and Grow Rich so great. It's practical and inspiring.
Totally. You need both. A solid plan and that unshakable belief in yourself.
And stepping outside that comfort zone, easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. But Hill reminds us, we have the power to shape our own reality. It's a call to action.
Own your destiny, right. One thing that really stands out is his emphasis on decision-making.
Huge. He calls indecision a dream killer. Dedicates a whole chapter to the habit of decision.
So becoming decisive is crucial.
Absolutely. Overcome procrastination, take responsibility, move forward with confidence.
No more waffling back and forth.
Exactly. Trust your gut, learn as you go, but take action. Hill really understood how our minds work.
He did. And he's such a good storyteller. Those real-life examples really bring it home.
The best. Makes it relatable. He shares stories of everyday people doing extraordinary things.
So inspiring. Proves it's possible for anyone. Oh, and that poem he includes, It Couldn't Be Done.
By Edgar Guest. Classic. Sums up Hill's message perfectly.
We put limits on ourselves. If we believe in ourselves, ignore the naysayers.
Anything's possible.
It's true, we limit ourselves way more than we realize. But Hill, he's all about pushing past those limits, right? And this whole idea of service, making a difference, that's a big part of it too.
Huge. It's not just about personal gain. It's about using your success to lift others up.
Giving back, paying it forward, all of that.
Exactly.
Oh.
Hill truly believed that real, lasting wealth, it comes from creating value for others.
Solving problems, making the world a better place.
He even said the public is the real employer of the future.
Interesting. So businesses need to serve the public to truly succeed.
That's the idea. Positive impact, win-win situations. He also talks about leadership a lot.
What makes a good leader, according to Hill?
He's got this list, 10 attributes: courage, self-control, a good personality.
So more than just being the boss.
Oh yeah, it's about empowering people, working together towards a common goal.
He probably talks about what not to do, too.
Oh, absolutely. 10 causes of leadership failure, like refusing to serve, being afraid of competition.
Easy traps to fall into.
Right. But by knowing them, you can avoid them. Hill's all about learning and growing as a leader.
And that's what I love about Think and Grow Rich. It's practical and inspiring. He gives you the tools and the motivation.
Totally. He believed in having a plan, but also in the power of belief itself.
The power of believing in yourself.
Exactly. Stepping outside your comfort zone, facing those challenges head on, it's a call to action.
Become the best version of yourself, right? One theme that keeps popping up is the importance of decision-making.
Huge one. Hill called indecision the death of progress. He dedicated a whole chapter to mastering it.
Becoming decisive, making those tough calls.
Exactly. Overcome procrastination, take charge, and move forward with confidence.
No more second-guessing yourself.
Exactly. Trust your gut, learn as you go, but take action. Hill, he just got how our minds work.
He did. And those real-life stories he uses, so powerful.
They're best. Makes you realize, hey, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly. Oh, and that poem he includes, It Couldn't Be Done. Remember that one.
Classic. Sums up Hill's whole message perfectly.
We limit ourselves with those couldn'ts and impossibles.
When really we're capable of so much more.
So true. Well, folks, that's our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. What a journey.
It's a book that can change your whole outlook, if you let it.
It's about realizing you have what it takes to achieve your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Amen to that.
That's it for us this time. Until next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep reaching for those dreams. You got this.